that to Van Gogh once. And he listened.
Bongo Mike.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Use the term loosely.
Yes, very.
What's
How's
the
it
word?
going?
What's the word? Give me something.
Give me something to write on, man.
I saw Anchors Away on Friday night. Got to say hello to our friend Jimmy O'Connell.
How's JOC?
JOC.
Good, man. They're doing good. It was one of the few shows that ended up happening on Friday night. A lot of them got canceled due to weather, and it was right down the street from my house here in Mount Prospect. They have an event each two Fridays out of each month in the summer called Concert on the Green. I was talking to the guy from Mount Prospect. I said everybody else canceled, and he said, yeah. He goes, I don't cancel until the rain's actually coming down. He goes, I got tarps. I'll put them on anything that needs to be tarped off, and I'll shut off the electricity. And we did it. And there were storms all around, but there was nothing hitting in Mount Prospect.
It's crazy. He's like the skipper of the SS Minnow, man. He just rolls the dice.
He did. He does. My guy, Mike Schuster. That's the man.
Nice. Shout out to Mike Schuster.
Shout out to him for one of the few shows that was, sometimes it didn't rain, I was reading some of the posts on Facebook and they were saying, yeah, the rain never hit, but they called the show at 5:00 and said it's canceled. And when you do that,
the same thing happened over here Thursday in Carroll Stream. They have that concert in the park. And, we got pounded Thursday. It's like the sky opened up and bam. And, it cleared. And I'm reading on Facebook, all these shows getting canceled everywhere. I go to walk my dog and I can hear music coming from the park. And lo and behold, they kept theirs going. And I believe it was the Spasmatics.
Ah, okay. Nice.
And, man, they sounded fantastic.
They've been around a long time.
Yeah, it's hard to keep those guys still, man. They're always bouncing around.
Moving around. Yeah,
Spaz
I went to the Addison Rock and Wheels on Thursday, and the opening band was a Sublime tribute band called Santeria. They got about 20 minutes in, and then there was lightning. And then that's it. They postponed it for a short period of time. The rains came. It did pour. There wasn't really lightning around us. Then they were squeegeeing off the stage, and they said the Wailers were going to go on. About 10 minutes later, they said the show's canceled. There was another storm system right behind it, coming in from the west. So, it happens,
Hey, man.
Especially when you get this soupy weather, you get that hot, soupy weather. That stuff can happen.
Wasn't that Soupy Sales? Remember that guy back in the
I do remember Soupy Sales. He was good. That guy was good.
Was he on the Hollywood Squares? I think he wasn't he, a few times?
Everybody was on that.
I wasn't. I was too young.
Ray Rayner, Fraser Thomas.
Were they really?
Paul Lynn.
I remember Paul Lynn was always on that show.
He was always in the middle, wasn't he?
Yeah. You know that do you remember the cartoon?
That's what he said.
Charlotte's Web. Do you remember Charlotte's Web, the book, and then they made the movie?
Yeah.
He was the rat in that. It was his voice that was the rat.
Nice.
And I don't think he changed. I think he just talked the way he normally talks.
Nice trivia question. We got to ask our guests these trivia questions.
Mindless blob. What about you there, Pete?
Smoking brisket.
Wow,
how do you get that in your pipe?
That sounds delicious.
You got to really cram it in there.
You got to with a plunger.
16 pound packer brisket.
Damn, son.
Man, send some our way.
Yeah, right?
We should do that. We keep saying that. We should, like one of these Sunday afternoons over at the Broken Oar.
Do a live recorded pod broadcast recorded barbecue thing. That'd be fun.
We need somebody on the podcast to play guitar, and we can do a little, get together, a little brisket.
We could bring Nick Cox. Nick Cox is a fantastic guitar. Well, although Seventh Heaven's so damn busy, every band busy this time of year. Who's
we'll wait till it gets cooler.
Hey man, nothing's cooler than hanging out with us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't get any cooler than that.
Doesn't get any cooler. Don't we have our call for the Yacht Rock this week, right? Tomorrow and
Yeah.
Wednesday, right?
Yeah, tomorrow and Wednesday. I had to change Thursdays to Wednesday. It's my wife's birthday
Happy
this
birthday.
week. Yeah,
Happy birthday, Debbie.
Debbie turns another calendar. I'm not gonna say her age, Friday, but we're doing stuff on Thursday. So rather than butting up to that, I just want to leave that day open. So yeah, we're gonna do Tuesday and Wednesday. I will not be on the call tomorrow. Our good friend Art Nunez will run the call. I gave him the agenda. We are ready to start, batten down the hatches, hoist up the John B. sail, whatever you do at Yacht
Watch the
Rock. We're
boom.
gonna be doing it, man.
Rhodesy,
Speaking of the boom,
there he is.
Oh, give us 5 booms, Rhodesy.
What's up, dudes?
What's going on, my brother?
Nothing. Just decided to come outside since I've been cooped up in the house all day.
There you go. You warming up for any bands, any shows this weekend? Who you playing with?
Friday, I play with Focal Point. Saturday, I play with Good Country. And Sunday, I play with Renegade Wildflower.
Why don't you give us those? Where were you playing at? So Friday, you're with Focal Point. Where's that at?
Well, actually,
this doesn't really matter because this show comes
Yeah,
out
it's
a
a
week
week
later.
late.
So
Yeah,
The
it's a week
Rhodesy
later.
curse.
you want to talk about a week after? What do you got, Rhodesy? Week after.
I got nothing. Actually, I got
You
to
always
start
got
getting ready
something.
for friction rehearsals.
We got those coming
I
up.
saw a message go out about we're getting ready to do that. So,
Yeah, I figure we'll
I gotta
start
be
that
ready
up
to
in
go.
August. Yeah.
and then Coterie.
Coterie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with all the rain, what who makes the decision? Is it like the first crack of lightning and thunder that everybody goes?
Lightning. Anytime there's lightning, they're going to shut it down. It's not necessarily rain unless it's blowing onto the stage or it's hitting any of the electronics, but it's usually lightning that'll shut her
Yeah.
down.
Once you get the bright light in the sky, man, they shut that shit down. Shut that shit
Because
down.
we used your cousin Bongo Mike for some PA work, and we had a little rain out in Rockford last year, and we
Yeah.
had a little issue, and I was wondering how Eli dealt with all that.
Rain is a problem, but as long as you have tarps and you can tarp off the electronics, it's not so bad. But if there's lightning coming down and he's not making the call that we should shut it down, that's a huge problem.
It's an issue.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's called
What do you-
liability. That is liability.
What do you say first? Your stuff?
Hey, every man for himself.
He gets his washboard put away so it doesn't rust, man. He doesn't, hey, how many tetanus shots do you get a year? Does it deal every 7 years you have to do that just in case you scrape a knuckle on that sucker?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Lots of techno shots.
Yeah.
Assume this is on Washboard Talk. I mean, did I join the right
This is
chat?
Washboard Talk brought to you by Mike Orfanos and Mike Dermont. CBob, what's going on, brother?
How you guys doing? Good
Hey,
afternoon.
Bob, how's it going?
Oh my gosh, it's going. Just got out of my 1,500 meetings for work, so I'm very happy to kind of relax with you guys here. So
1,499 could have been an email.
I say, you
Oh
know
my
what? I've known CBob for quite a few years here, and getting him to actually sit down, not doing work, right? It's either going to be music or work. To get him in a situation like this where you have his undivided attention you probably have a better chance of winning the lotto, guys. So this is a good one, man.
twice. But no,
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this for a while. So I've carved everything out. I've locked the door. Amy knows not to come down here, so we're all good. You have my undivided attention. So
I was told there'd be no math in this interview.
no promises. I'm an engineer. There's going to be
I
charts
know.
and diagrams and graphs.
Awesome.
Ones and
So
zeros.
that's your day job. You're an engineer.
Well, I'm actually an IT manager for a lighting company, and I've been at the same company for 23 years now. We've been bought by a couple things. My headquarters is in Georgia, but my office is in Des Plaines, but I work from home. But I came from engineering and I went into IT probably about 4 years ago, 5. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm a nerd. Yeah. Guilty.
You're in the right place. Who wants to introduce this fine CBob?
I would be happy to introduce my good friend Chris Babrowski. We've got to
Thank
say the
you.
name the right way, Kip. Chris Babrowski. A lot of people say Chris Brabowski. Wrong R. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce my friend Chris Babrowski, also known as CBob, lead singer of the fabulous band Rok Brigade, also lead singer of the band Super Unknown and 10 Chicago, correct, Chris?
Yes, you're right.
And as we're going to go through this interview, you're going to find out that Chris is involved in a lot of music projects. He's been involved in a lot of music projects. I've known Chris probably about somewhere between 15 and 20 years, just being on the scene. I think the first time I actually saw him perform live, other than a bar, was at a wedding. My good friend Jim Philos years ago got
Yeah.
married, and he hired the band Hairbangers Ball. And I remember seeing, I think his name was Chris Crotch at the time. We talked about that.
5 minutes in. Thanks.
And
Okay.
I remember seeing this guy up there just kicking the shit out of the bass. And I was like, oh my God, is this guy a bass player? And then all of a sudden, his mouth opened up and he started singing Run to the Hills by Iron Maiden. And I became an instant fan of CBob. So, CBob, welcome to the show, man.
Glad to be a part of it. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for the introduction.
Got it.
Yes, and thanks for bringing up my past that I tried to bury 20 years ago. And that
Wow.
was 18 years ago, because, or at least 20, because I actually left that band when my daughter was born. My daughter just turned 18. So
Oh, wow. Wow.
yeah. So this is a testament to, and you can't see up here, to
Well,
our
just
friendship.
wait, Chris, because it gets a lot. It doesn't get any worse, but it sure gets grayer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
This
at
will be
least you still got it.
Yeah, that's true, right?
So the
Awesome.
three bands, go through each one, Chris.
No, there's more
Educate
than
me.
3. I didn't want to interrupt
Well,
Mike.
go through
but
them all. We got an hour to kill.
I just
Bubba.
wanted to highlight the ones that most people are going to be familiar with, Chris.
The ones you really like.
Actually going to talk about
Yeah.
ether as well, but I'm going to leave it up to you, man. It's your
So
thing.
the primary thing for me is Rok Brigade. Rok Brigade's a Def Leppard tribute. But we've kind of expanded to doing other 80s stuff and maybe some 70s stuff as well. I sing in that band with a lot of ex-members of Friction, not ex-members, current members of Friction, I should say. We'll get into that later. But that's basically my bread and butter. I sing in a Soundgarden tribute called Super Unknown, as Mike had mentioned. It's actually Chris Cornell, Temple of the Dog, Audio Slave, all that type of stuff. I sing in a Pearl Jam tribute that is basically called 10 Chicago. Same members, we just changed our shirts. Sometimes we play both in the same night with that. I also sing, this is very eclectic, I sing for Faith No More, called really original No More Faith. And that probably we play maybe once a year. That's a kind of a pet project because it's really not all that mainstream. And then lastly, which plays a little bit more often, I play bass in an Ozzy tribute called No More Tears. My drummer, Pete Durbin, in Super Unknown, it's a big incestuous family, I'm going to warn you now. My drummer, Pete Durbin, actually sings for that. And he asked, and through times he'd gone through a couple of people, but he asked me to play bass in that. That band actually started from a 50th birthday party for me, where we got a bunch of different musicians up on stage, and Pete kind of surprised me by dressing up as Ozzy and playing that stuff. So it kind of developed into a band because he did it so well. But there's that. I sit in with other bands on occasion or do a lot of online collaborations. Mike and I have done a couple with that. I think I summed up in an email. I like to be busy. I don't like to plateau. I like to push. I like to set the bar and then push it. Because I feel in that way, I'm always learning on doing something. I like to be challenged with that type of stuff. So
how many shows a year is Rok Brigade doing?
we've actually gone down. It's probably about 40 to 50 shows.
Oh.
I do have a chart if you want me to show you.
No.
But no, I'm kidding. We've actually kind of take a step back to go quality over quantity with it. Because we were getting burnt out. Fans are getting burnt out on it, and it saved my voice. That stuff's not hard to sing. It's not easy to sing. And I found that with that, I get more longevity than not doing 3-4 shows a weekend. And I'm up to the age where I really like my time away from the stage too. So you got that, Mike. So, but yeah, we play probably maybe once, 3 to 4 times a month.
You guys got more destination gigs than you've had in the last couple of years.
Actually, last year was our big destination year. We played in California for a casino. We played Pittsburgh. We've only so far had one destination I can think of. I'll have to pull that up. But and that was Kentucky. We just played there last week um, for the first time, and that was it was fun. Again, we're doing these destinations. We want to make sure it's of value to the location we're at as well as the value to us
Yeah.
for it. I mean, we if you would ask me on paper, would you be looking forward to playing an axe throwing club? I would have said no. But that's one of the places in Kentucky we played, and probably was one of the most fun gigs we've had with the type of things. But yeah, we'll do some destinations if it makes the right decision for it. But we actually have less destination gigs this year than we did last year.
Who does the booking for that, Chris? How do you find those gigs?
So Bill Covert, the bass player, is our salesman, literally and figuratively. He's the one who does the primary of the band's booking, and we go through some talent buyers too, but he'll make the calls. We have California actually called us because of a lot of the promos that Bill had done for it. But I'll do, for my contacts, I'll get something. Marty Craven's got us a couple gigs here and there, but it's primarily Bill.
Talk about that a little bit. You've thrown a couple names out: Bill Covert, Marty Craven. Why don't you talk about Rok Brigade? Who are the members of Rok Brigade other than yourself? And then kind of go around the positions too. Yeah,
sure. I'm not the first singer for that, actually. There's a guy named Kerry Devine that sang before it, but he had moved out of state and I stepped in. Bill Covert is the owner and founder. He's the bass player. Billy Covert, if you ask him, and he'll probably tell you a couple times. Marty Craven is the guitarist extraordinaire. Looked up to that guy for 25 years, and I'm finally in a band with him. Joe Guevara, who's also from Friction, is the other guitarist. Those two together, I think that they've never really looked forward to being in a dual guitar band, but they really work well off of each other with it. It's a great pairing with that. Then we have Len Gorka, I call her our secret weapon, because he's actually a drummer by his own musicianship, but he plays keys and he sings lead, and we pull him out for a song or two. We're going to be getting him to sing some more stuff. Secret weapon because he can kick over our heads too. So, and then the other guy who was the original drummer for this is Robert Benke. He left and then came back. But he's an animal behind the drums. He just this flailing mop of hair, and while he keeps everything solid, no song is played the same way twice with his fills and stuff like that. So it's I'm very, very happy to have this group of guys, very proud of this group of guys, because any of us, you guys will know this, but any band is a six-way marriage. You guys got to get along as friends. You guys got to have the right type of motivation, right type of enthusiasm for it. If you don't have that, then there's no reason to set foot on the stage, in my opinion. And these guys got it.
It's interesting is you said that the whole friendship and stuff, and you guys do get along great. I mean, I hang with you guys outside, outside the music scene, probably more than in the music scene. But looking at the musicians you guys are stacked. I mean, a lot of the great bands in the Chicagoland area have great musicians, and I'm not going to take anything away from them. But if you talked about Jose and Marty, I remember playing with Jose in Friction for many years, and you're right. He was that type of guy that never wanted to have a second guitarist. I mean, and he doesn't need a second guitarist.
No, he doesn't. He can carry it on.
And then you got Marty Craven, same thing, right? I mean, he's been a one man show as far as guitarist for every band that he's been in. You guys brought these two guitars together, and there's no secret. I'm not a big fan of Def Leppard, but musically, they're an incredible band, and those two just, I mean, unbelievable guitarist, and
they go beyond what's actually on the recording. They'll find
100%.
harmonies that didn't exist, or they'll have
Yep.
fun with certain things here and there in the song, just to make it more lively of a show. And that's the
Yeah.
other thing. You got to look like you're having fun on stage. We don't only look; we actually are having fun on stage,
right?
Because that's infectious and carries to the audience. But those guys love playing off each other. They talk about things that they do before, during, and after the show. They work very well together, and I'm glad. Again, they brought me into their fold. I had nothing to do with that initially. So
you talk about the energy, and you have to have that. There's a lot of bands out there that are great bands that just don't bring that factor to it. Is that something you guys work on, or is it just something that just comes naturally when you're playing the
It
tune?
comes naturally. I mean, I joke about my time at Hairbangers Ball. We actually had something where we were working on the songs, and then someone said, "You got to work on the moves." I'm like, "Moves? We don't even have the songs down yet." We it comes naturally for us. We enjoy being on a stage. We enjoy, bantering with each other. You'll see me picking on Marty, or him picking on me, or me getting Joe to try to move out of his element. Instead of not that he doesn't, but just kind of trying to move him around, or I'll throw things at Robert or things like that, because we're having fun on stage. I mean, it's something that we don't take for granted. We appreciate it, and we're going to enjoy it if there's 5,000 or 5 people in that audience.
Yeah, that projects to the crowd.
Oh yeah,
They
easily
react to it every time.
Yeah. It's and you actually catch some people who say, "What were you saying to Marty?" or what was he doing? Why do you make that face when you're doing that? Or just, it kind of like a little Easter egg, if you will, for the fans.
Yeah.
So
Did you guys catch Ozzy? I know we're going on a tangent here, but
Yeah, that's fine.
His last show, sitting in the chair, and
I feel that's the way I'm going to go out.
Yeah, I saw some of the videos. I don't know what it's like you're baiting that a little bit. You want to?
I'm not. I'm just they're starting to come up, and I'm like,
I
know
want my
he's got
money back.
Parkinson's or whatever, and
I think it was a celebration of what that guy brought to music.
Yeah.
I mean, he's certainly not the Ozzy Osbourne of the 80s or even the 90s, but you can't take anything away from how he and Black Sabbath have changed music, and he carried it. I mean, he is the godfather of heavy metal, man. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Now, was it the most impressive performance? Absolutely not. But it was really cool to see people, at least it's my opinion. It was great to see so many musicians. And I loved seeing Jakey Lee get out there. Now, Jake can't play the way he used to, but I think when you look at it from a celebration, man, that was a great party.
Yeah, he got shot, right? So that's why he doubled with Nuno on a lot of those songs
Yeah,
too.
he got shot and he has arthritis in his hands. So he can't play like he used to. But hell, man, we're all getting old, right? There's a lot of things I can't do the way I used to.
But it was the message of actually having been a part of it, because he's part of that legacy. So having him there
100%.
really meant a lot to me as a fan as well.
Absolutely.
There were some that didn't get invited for some reason, and there should have been a lot more people in the Ozzy history book.
Sure.
Yeah, and you unfortunately some bridges are burned, I'm sure. Then there's also scheduling conflicts, but just to see not only from his legacy of bands and band members, but just the other people that he's influenced in that. Again, I'm a huge Nuno fan. I loved everything Extreme. I even loved the stuff that he did with Rihanna. I love that he was a part of it, and just all the other musicians that were doing things. A Hailstorm, and it was a very cool event.
Yeah, she killed it. I saw her set, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was very, very cool.
I was just bringing it up because I'm sure they're looking for money, but the way they did it, they could have done it a little bit differently. Where it was kind of weird when he was sitting in that chair. It's so much. It's not like you're the leader of Foo Fighters and you got a broken leg, you got to sit in the throne. and
but they donated how much? I don't know exactly for this, but didn't they donate a certain amount of that to something?
No idea. That's why I'm bringing it up.
It could have been Parkinson's.
Parkinson's, maybe?
I think it was Parkinson's. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that's why you had the throne. I thought it was a cool effect, right? The Prince of Darkness. It would have been great to see him get out of the throne. But my understanding is the guy's having, I mean, he can't walk, man.
He can't. He's shaking every single step, unfortunately. So
I was fortunate enough to catch the tour. The last time he did it was on that 13 tour. I ended up seeing it twice. And both times he just sounded great. I don't know if they were using some kind of effect on his voice, but he sounded great. He didn't look great. He didn't move much, but it was a great show. Having Geezer Butler and Tony Iommi and him on stage together was pretty damn cool. It was, playing some cool stuff like Into the Void. And
it
was awesome.
Those two haven't aged at all, man. Geezer and Tony, man, they look the same as they did 20 years ago.
I'll tell you what, though, in watching that, and one of the first videos I saw from that Ozzy, the celebration was "Bark at the Moon," which Chris, you and I have both sang that before, right?
Yep.
Um, and if anybody listens to that and listens to the guy who's singing, I think it's the lead singer of the band Ghost. No offense to the band Ghost, it was horrible. And
I'm not a Ghost fan.
but
Yeah.
here's the thing: it's not that his voice was horrible; it wasn't the right voice for that song. But I'm going to tell you something. Ozzy's voice is so challenging to sing.
Yeah.
It comes from a place I don't know. It takes a long time. And "Bark at the Moon" for me and Chris, I don't know if you feel the same way. Of all the Ozzy songs, that's probably one of the most difficult ones to emulate as far as his tone and the pitch he's using. It's a weird fucking song.
And no vibrato. That's the hardest thing. You just got to hold
It's
it without doing a vibrato.
It's fucking crazy, and it's in a higher register, but it's not a high voice. It's a tough song to sing. So, as I'm listening to, him, I'm like, you know what? I probably haven't given Ozzy enough credit over the years for his vocal abilities, but he's a fantastically amazing singer.
Yeah. I saw them to close out. I saw them when the first reunion tour at Tinley, and my friend's wife used to book for Tinley, and we went to a private thing. Scott Bond and his wife Kate.
Yeah, yeah.
We went to there, and she had retired from that role, but we talked to the person who'd booked them, and we're in a balcony where we can see, first of all, the guy on keyboard that's basically controlling to make sure that he's singing in pitch, so the vocals are going through a keyboard for pitch correction, and the promoter that booked them basically was telling me, yeah, Ozzy's antics before stage are weird. He would take a jump rope, hit it twice, and go, fuck, and then turn 90 degrees and do it again. He would do that in a circle 3 times. And that was his OCD before a show.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
He had
Wow.
a tick.
Yeah.
He does. So, but yeah, it was very cool to see that. Very cool to see the whole thing with the Ozzy. It's a shame that we won't see him perform anymore, but I'm glad we got what we got.
Well, and the cool thing about music is it's here forever, right? When Eddie Van Halen died, and I still see people post, and the whole loss of Eddie Van Halen, he's immortalized with his music, right? So it's all good. So let's pivot back to you, Chris. That's enough. If you don't mind,
I don't mind. I don't mind.
We could keep talking. You talked about the 3 bands. We could spend the whole night talking about Rok Brigade, but I don't think it's fair to the other projects that you work on, because in their own right, and I've heard all of them. I believe I've heard all of them. I am so impressed with Super Unknown. To say that if you're not a singer, then you may not understand how difficult it is to sing that shit. Chris Cornell he's again one of those voices. To me, he's a very Dio-esque type singer. He's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of range, man, and to be able to do what you do. Talk a little bit about that, and then I want to ask you, of those 3, which is your favorite to perform in as a singer?
So I'll tell you right now, anything Cornell. That's my favorite singer. He's my idol. So a story on this. A friend of mine and I used to go to a bar, and we when I was underage, and they would play a lot of Soundgarden. Didn't know what it was, but I was very transfixed by that stuff back in the day, and it kind of stuck with me. He was a fan. He was a singer too. He was always trying to push for that. He didn't quite hit it. So I always saw that as kind of a bar to get to. And I wasn't a singer at this point. So I've idolized it and eventually became a singer. I was singing in a band that I got kicked out of, or I quit, depending on who you ask. And I walked out, and the guitarist basically said to the other guitarist, "You let that guy go, I'm done too." And he quit with me. And we're standing outside the practice saying, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "You know what? I've always loved Cornell. Why don't we try Soundgarden?" And then we walked across the hall to the guy who was doing drummer, his name Greg Rapp, and we formed Super Unknown at that point in that hallway at that very moment. We got a couple other people with it. I've been doing that for about 15 years. It is not easy. I saw it as a challenge. I saw it as something raising the bar and then trying to push forward to it because of my love for it. It didn't always sound great. I kind of grew into it, but and I don't think I'm the best singer of it, but I do have a huge appreciation. I want to do the songs justice. I learned a lot more in singing by being in that band than I have any other band I've ever been in or even watched. Just because there's a technique, there's a growl, there's a placement of the where the note is in your head. I mean, depending on the songs, and add to that the meaning behind all these songs. He was such an in-depth writer. You talk about Eddie, who was also an inspiration to me as a musician. Cornell had a huge impact on my life as a musician, and because it was something I always strove for, to try to have that depth to what I'm writing and to my level of performance. So yeah, I've started out as a Pearl Jam singer. That just came to fruition. I will probably start an Alice in Chains at some point if I get the right people, because that's something I do love. But the Cornell stuff, okay, we'll talk, Rhodesy. The Cornell stuff is near and dear to my heart, just because it to me, it evolved as I evolved, and I got closer to understanding the meaning of it. So that's hands down the stuff I love singing with it. And I'm lucky to have the right guys with that. In that band, Jet, who's my partner in crime on a lot of stuff, my brother, is the bass player for it. John Braun is a guitarist. You had him on here, who's Jack Tripper. He's the guitarist for that, and actually Pearl Jam and the Faith No More as well. But he's the guy who we left the band and started the band with that. Drummer for that is Pete Durbin, the singer for the Ozzy tribute that I do, and Matt Rhodes, probably one of the most versatile guitarists that I've ever known. He was in a mariachi band at one point in time, and then he's in a pop punk. And he does this stuff. He's in Blockchain Coalition now. Again, amazing musicians to be a part of for a lot of these projects that I'm in. And on occasion, we'll steal Brent Johnson, who's in iPop, who's a keyboardist, but he's also a phenomenal guitar player, and Tom Sawyer too. So I'm lucky to have those guys be a part of their repertoire, if you will.
With all this, all this musician changing, how do you guys not get sexually transmitted diseases? I mean, do you guys wear protection?
We have personal space. Yeah. Do not, unless you're Marty Craven, who violates that by walking in front of you. Kidding. Yeah, this is my personal space. That's your personal space.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, it just goes to, but it goes back to that chemistry thing, right? And I think Rhodes had a question. Sorry, but if you find guys that you can work with, and then not only in the band you're working today, like Rok Brigade, but then to be able to all this other different, bands in the music, nothing's the same. Every band you just mentioned, there's no commonality other than musicians, right? And instruments. It's very different. So sorry, Rhodesy, did you want to ask a question?
No.
I had a question.
Mike does.
Because I'm thinking about it as I'm thinking about the Soundgarden stuff. I'm thinking, like, when you guys are doing Spoon Man, do you have somebody who's actually doing the spoons?
No. I was hoping to talk to you.
Bongo. Were you just applying for a job, dude?
And number 32.
So actually, Mike, I will say that we did a tribute to Cornell, like I think it was 5 Years Gone at Arcada Theater. And we actually made this a huge event. We had an acoustic set. We had probably another 4 or 5 musicians that came part of it. And we did actually have someone come up and play the spoons for Spoon Man. First time, it was very hard to Mike. He didn't know where to stand, but we eventually heard him. But for future events, if you and I can correlate calendars, absolutely. Yeah, you're more than welcome. So.
I got to be honest with you. That's probably one of the few instruments I could probably do a little bit on it. But when I listen to what's going on the song Spoon Man, I can't do what he's doing. There's some kind of triplet thing that he's doing with those spoons.
Mike, don't say can't. I can try.
I would try, but I hadn't thought about it because it's such a cool little part. And actually, you could actually do that into like a drum type of thing, which maybe is what you guys do when you play it live.
No, we actually don't even have that when we play it live. So we'd love to add that type of percussion to it. Pete's doing so much behind the kit, it's hard for him to add anything, and I can't even do this most of the time. So
good job. You just did this that you can't do. So
I can't do the other.
You mentioned. You hit upon something I definitely want to cover. It's about live performances. I'm going to spin over to Rok Brigade, because those who know Def Leppard know the amount of vocals that are involved in that. Now, this isn't just like, hey, 2-part harmonies. You guys got everyone singing in that band, and I know there's been the question: does Rok Brigade use vocal tracks? Let's talk a little bit about that, Chris.
So, the quick answer is no. While we do have a backing track for things, it's only for intros or supplemental audio or something like that. There's never any vocals on it. I am against it personally. I don't like it. We've been accused for it a couple of times, to which Nick Cox always kind of rips me. You guys are using tracks though, right? No,
Not
you're
Nick.
using tracks.
What does
No,
he know
no,
about
not you.
tracks?
Yeah, exactly. But no, we don't. We try to have at least the 3-part harmony and everything we do. There's a lot of gang vocals and a lot of overdubbing. We don't have 32 people to do 32 tracks that they did for the recordings, so we'll just do it with the people we have. But everybody in the band sings, including Robert, and I've got the tracks to prove it. So that from recording, I record every single show multi-track, part of my OCD. We'll talk data stuff later, but if anyone wants to challenge me on that, I'll show you the good and the bad of what we've done. So,
Yeah.
Can I take us on a tangent again? Because that's what I love to do.
Tangent us.
please do.
Pearl Jam, the drummer, what happened?
Which
So
one?
Matt, who came from Soundgarden, and he came from the whole Seattle scene. He decided that he wanted to do something different, and he just released something today, and I didn't get a chance to read it. I saw it as I'm scrolling through my, doom scrolling on Facebook while I'm in a meeting. I didn't catch it, but he at least said he wanted to step away and do something else because there's no more
He's going to
Soundgarden.
still do studio stuff, but he's going to be the studio drummer, but the touring stuff, I think he's piecing out.
Well, I can tell you this, Pete, a lot of us drummers, we've been hoping for Babrowski to come back.
But he's not going to.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Did you see that somewhere?
Yeah, he basically said, while it'd be very cool that those bridges are long burnt.
Hey, Rhodesy, I heard you're available for hire.
Yeah.
I only wish.
Yeah, I'd be,
audition for Primus? Absolutely not.
I honestly think that maybe Josh Freese may pick that up after he exited Foo Fighters.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't know. I don't know who they're going to get with it. So
the original
I'm definitely
Dave,
watching that.
The original Dave.
Oh, that's who I thought you were mentioning. No,
I was
that
talking Babrowski, but there is the original Dave too.
What's the original Dave?
Yeah, Babrowski is the one who said that the bridges are burnt. I forgot about the original Dave too. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So, but again, it depends on people that are our age, and they're roughly our age or a little bit older. Do you want to encompass that rigorous type of touring anymore?
Yeah. Well, I think that's why the original drummer walked, wasn't it? He didn't want to go on the road anymore.
I think that the same thing with Foo Fighters is I think that they wanted to do a different direction with the drummers at that time, and they basically left.
Yeah.
Or were kicked out, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, right.
But I'm speaking from multitasking and reading bits and pieces here and there.
Same.
I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to come from that, and from Foo Fighters for that matter. So a lot of people are saying it's Shane Hawkins that's going to take that place. So a lot of people are saying it might be Matt Cameron.
Yeah.
Don't know. We'll see.
So what was special about the grunge scene back in the day in our youth, the Northwest scene, what?
I guess to me,
yeah.
It's what I grew up on because I kind of straddled two different genres. I always loved the heavier stuff, and there are certain grunge things that spoke to me. The Alice in Chains and Soundgarden are two number ones for me with that. Pearl Jam was just easy because, again, it was easy for me to emulate, but still have a love for the music. I guess it was because there was no flash to it. We got the 80s got so burnt out about image than it did musicianship that your quality was just going down as a result of it. I used to work in the video game field, back years ago. That's how CBob originated, but same thing. Yeah, Chris Bobrowski was my login. CBob.
Is that your password?
Yeah,
my
password was password. Right, or my password was actually incorrect. So if I typed in wrong, it would tell me my password. But you get a lot of, with some of the video games, you would get a lot of poor quality stuff, and people lost interest with it. And that's what I think happened with the 80s to the 90s. Is that, and then when Nirvana came out, they didn't. It spoke to a lot of people that didn't know what they were looking for. They didn't want. They knew what they didn't want, but then they heard something that they kind of just gravitated towards with that.
Didn't they say it like single-handedly killed like the hair metal bands? Like when that came out, it was when the
already
grunge
dying,
movement
bro.
came
It was
out.
already, yeah. I think
It was
I
dying.
think it was just getting so silly. I mean,
Yeah.
it was
Ballad after ballad after ballad. After
and
ballad.
everything was sounding the same, right?
That, and
Tell
I
the
think
difference
Beavis and
between-
Butthead did something with that too. Is just where they basically, because one of the kids they picked on wore a Winger shirt, killed Winger's career
Yeah.
as a result of it.
Yeah,
They even state that. I've actually talked to Kip and Rev on that before, and they said, yeah, Beavis and Butthead killed our career for
video killed the radio star, and then Beavis and Butthead killed Winger. Man.
Well, I was going to
But it-
MTV next, and how did that transform? Like, how did that happen? Because you had Seattle going, you had Chicago going at the same time.
Right.
MTV was getting over to glam stuff and becoming popular while it still had music.
Right. But I think that there was a combination with one of the reasons why MTV started losing it, because it wasn't about showmanship with grunge. So there was really not much to show unless you had some
Right.
episodic type of video thing like the Foo Fighters did,
The acoustic stuff.
or
Well,
the
if you-
acoustic stuff, which was fantastic on some cases.
You know, oh, go ahead. Sorry, CBob.
No, I was going to say, but I think that they didn't have much product to show, and then the rap market was coming up, so they were playing a lot more of that. And again, people got burnt out of it and were gravitating more towards reality TV. So MTV's music catalog shrank while the reality stuff grew.
MTV wanted that shock value, and if you look at music in the 70s and look at music in the 90s, it was more about the music than it was the shock. And I think that's truly what killed MTV, right? They didn't have the lipstick and the leather and the hairspray and the chicks on the cars. The people are just like, wow, we can listen to Pearl Jam on the radio and get the same, it would feel better on the radio than it is trying to watch one of their videos, in my opinion. And that's the same with a lot of the 70s rock. Those bands that tried to do the MTV thing from the 70s, it was very awkward for them. You just go back and look at the old American Bandstand, video. It's
where they're singing along to a track, right?
They were not made for TV, right? It was those bands that looked really good. I think of Poison. Man, those were the fucking hottest chicks I ever saw on an album when that album came out. I didn't realize it was men. You know?
Don't tell Mike.
Yeah, right.
But I think that sums it up. It was more about the image, where before and after it wasn't anymore.
Right.
So you raise a good point with that, Mike.
And that's why I think bands like, I think of towards the end of the 80s, like we'll talk about Jakey Lee in Badlands, to me was one of the best fucking bands of the 80s, but nobody knows of Badlands because they weren't the MTV band. They were
didn't see it.
70s band stuck in the late 80s and 90s. Yeah.
I didn't find out about them until later on in life. I didn't know about them when they were popular, honestly.
And Brother Kane, another fucking great band, right? I know you like them. I mean, they were a good Black Crowes. I mean, it goes back to that 70s feel where they don't look good on TV, but man, you put that album on, you're going to get lost in it.
Yeah, exactly. It takes you back to a time. That's true of any music, but more so for those because you really didn't have anything to relate it to because of the video or the image with it.
Well, we're talking about disruptions or disruptors. MTV, okay, you had Nirvana, and then throwing Napster in there, or Apple Music 99 cents, how that came, albums versus the singles. And I don't know if that helped the heavy rock bands or if it helped the techno bands. What's your thoughts?
I think that it was, in my opinion, I think what it did is it helped for more. And I was a Napster guy. When someone picked up the phone, I was trying to download something off my dial-up. I killed my album download. I didn't talk to that person for a week. But I think it opened up to another market of exposure. Steve Jobs saw that and decided to monetize that. So I think that it's just a new means of distributing music. My stuff is on. Mike mentioned my original band Ether, which is dismissed. It's Scott Bond and I kind of put that to bed a while ago, but it's on iTunes, but it'll get more downloads in the dozens on one song than it will others. So you're not obligated to have to buy a whole album. You only download and buy what you want. So it's more a la carte, if you will.
So the next disruptor now is AI. You can push back, Chris, but you got what's that one band that just came out? It's totally AI that made the top 50. I don't know. Look in your feeds, you'll see it. But you can just go in and you can make your own stuff and pop it in there. You got any thoughts on that, Chris?
Well, I use AI for my job. I've used it for mixing. There was something I'll share with you, a boring mix-up I did of Bye Bye Love and Down Boys. So the Cars and Warrant, where I was able to strip out the tracks. I had the vocal on one track for one song and just splice them or swap them, and it fit perfectly. It's very scary. But when it comes to originality, we have something at work where we're not allowed to use AI because it's considered public domain. And I think people are looking to go that route because they don't have to pay an artist over time because it's technically public domain. So am I a fan of it, producing original content? No, I'm not. Am I a fan of it is using a tool to do certain things of it? Yes. If you ask me on my Photoshop and other stuff that I do, is it easier for AI to remove something or change something? Yeah. But if it's for creativity, that's where I have an issue with it. And
So
I
what's the
have an
difference
issue. I didn't
between
even know about this top 50 band. I'm actually going to look this up in a second.
all right, I'm going to push back on you, Chris. So what's the difference between a guitar and using AI to put something together? Oh, I like the four chords I'm going to put together like this. What's the difference? I use a guitar, keyboard, or AI.
Well, okay, very good point. I think that the the creativity comes in putting those together. But if the AI is adding a fifth chord progression, then it's about creativity. So you can and there's also creativity in your performance itself. Again, look at Eddie Van Halen and what was it? Smashing Pumpkins guy, Billy Corgan picked up his guitar and he didn't know how to play it because, or play like Eddie because it didn't sound like Eddie. Eddie sounded like Eddie. So there's the performance part of it, but songwriting is a creativity in itself. And if you're saying play these four chords, you're not using AI. You're basically programming. But if you're telling AI, I have these four chords, give me a different progression or give me something added onto it, then I have a problem because it's affecting creativity.
Yeah. And how's it different with like Stevie or all the producers that would take, Nirvana stuff, go to Madison, Wisconsin, and it sounded like this, and then you make it sound like that, or you take the Wrecking Crew, you have they play better than the real band. You know what I mean? Like how is that all different? I'm trying to figure out what you're drawing the line there, but this has all been manipulated for I don't know how many decades, and it's about making money.
Hey, you're speaking to somebody that's in 5 different cover and tribute bands. So about creativity, I'm just eating both feet right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, to me, when it comes to tributes in general, I think that is as a testament to the music and a celebration of the music, right? I don't think I'm the best of anything in what I do. As a matter of fact, if I see another band doing what I'm doing, I implore it as long as we're both kind of supporting that music. If there's another Soundgarden, another Def Leppard, come on up, sing a song. I don't care. It'd be very cool. But in terms of using AI, let me make sure I understand your question, Pete. You're saying is take something and make it sound like that person. I'm
saying on the creativity side now, instead of picking up a guitar and say, I'm going to work on 4 chords, I'm going to go into GarageBand and I'm going to, take the 4 instruments and put them together and come up with a song and throw it up on YouTube, see if anybody uses it for videos and get monetized,
Well, there's definitely people that are doing that today, right? I mean, that's out there. There's no creativity in that. That's program. I think Chris said that.
That's what I'm saying. Why is that not creativity? That's what I'm pushing.
Because if I'm giving every single note and the sequence of it, it's programming. It's not creativity, right? So it's creativity on my side of being able to use that to program that there. But again, as soon as I say fill in the blank with something of this, that's where the creativity ends and you hand over the AI. And that's what I have a problem with.
Exactly. There's no thought to it. You're just you're really letting someone else do the work. And it's like taking a test. If I can't take the test and I look over to Chris and say, Chris, what's the answer? I'm cheating. And that's what that is. To me, that's cheating.
Yeah. And if you're going to compare the programming thing, look at back all the synthesizers of the 70s. They were basically programming it. They're affecting the envelopes and everything that they were doing on their keyboard to be able to get that type of sound with it. They weren't using something else or someone else to help fill in a blank of that.
Right.
Right. And that's what I see as AI with it. It's just, it's not, if you're using AI as a tool to create a certain sound, there might be something with the creativity of how that sound is created, but the sequence of it, I think, is where I draw the line with it. So, and I'll be honest, I've used AI to develop certain sounds or make sure my guitar sounds, I'm emulating this type of thing with this type of tone that I heard on another song with it, but I'm using it to write my own music with that. So
besides pushing back on you, Chris, I was just wondering, what do you think the next level for music is? Because right now we're youngsters now, but there's even people younger than us, believe it or not, that are just taking a laptop, flipping it open, hitting play, and they're all stars in a club, and that's.
Well, I was lucky enough to be of the type of people that have recorded in a studio, and you can't see it, but and have the capability of recording on that computer.
Uh-huh.
My Ether CD was done all on a Mac, for example, and we used a drum machine because we didn't have a drummer at the time when we were recording it. Now I'll use it to help me speed through some tools. I'll get a drum recording. It's not up to par. I don't like the sounds of it. Use this to develop, and it's a one audio track. Use this to break out the stems, give me all my kicks on one channel, snares on another channel, and I can then manipulate it to be able to do things that I want with it. Again, not necessarily, AI for the stripping, but the manipulation all comes down to me. What do I think is the next sense of that? It's going to be kind of a combination of sampling, some AI generation with it, as well as emulation with it. So I think you're on to something about the band. And I'm just looking at this online about being able to create music with that.
Yeah, read the headline. What the hell, Chris? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it myself.
It says how this AI band fooled the internet, and how it has 550,000 Spotify listeners. They're just YouTube videos. Velvet Sundown, is that the name of the band that you're thinking of, Pete?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, they've amassed more than 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, and they have 2 albums, and all from AI.
Wow.
Interesting. I did not know about that.
Yuck.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
well, as we say for musicians, yuck.
yeah.
But from a patron, music is music, right?
Yeah.
If you get you feeling a certain way, great.
True.
But as a musician, and then the royalties on that, again, open domain. Now you don't have to pay an artist, and it's a money grabbing scheme.
Right.
As far as the businesses are concerned,
Well,
Hey,
it's less overhead.
you're saying the same thing in movie making, right? I mean, we're going to that where they're not going to need Hollywood anymore. They're going to create everything AI.
Well, they have
that?
they have an act where you're not allowed to use the representation of someone unless
But
you
I'm
have,
not coming up with new people though. I'm not saying take Tom Cruise, but come up with a new
people.
new actor.
What's happening out there is YouTube, like what we're doing right now, they're using our videos to train their stuff to put out processed videos, AI slop, to push their stuff that they don't have to pay for. That is, that's down the road. And I'm just wondering, on the music side of things, how will that play out? Because I think I'm all for the creative side of things, and I'm all for everybody making money. But if you can get extra funds coming in on a national level or even a global level, because you put something out there that, hey, wow, these are my 4, whatever,
Well,
what do you call it, Mike Dermont, selling out?
It's called selling out. But at the end of the day, if someone's buying what you're selling, what are you going to do? I mean, at the end of the day, I think Chris said it. It's the consumer, it's the patron. If
Yeah,
that's what
right.
they want to spend their money on, you can't change that. Us personally, the older guys, we want to know that, at least I think we do. We want to know that it's authentic, that somebody actually wrote that song. They freaking recorded it. They, troubled themselves over the guitar, the bass, the drums, yada, yada, yada. Kids today, do they really care? Some may. I'm going to say the majority, they don't give a rat's ass.
Monkeys, Backstreet Boys, Spice Girls, all
Milli Vanilli.
I mean,
Actually, I like some Backstreet Boys songs.
Yeah, at
But
least they
those
did.
were written by people.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, all right, guys, I got to drop in a few minutes, but
Okay,
I
Mike.
just wanted to ask Chris a couple questions. Okay,
Sure.
so, you said 5 cover bands, but I don't want to make this too difficult for you. So, of the 3 cover bands,
what's your favorite?
We already answered that.
He
Soundgarden.
already answered that. He said that.
Okay.
It's super unknown. But in each band, what's your favorite and worst song to sing? I mean, favorite and not favorite song, right? And let's start with super unknown. Which one is like?
So-
Yeah.
Man, that's going to be the most difficult. Let me come back to that.
Okay.
Let me start with Rok Brigade. I've always loved Foolin' and Rock of Ages the best, just because it's a lot of higher energy. It's a lot of great harmony with it, and it's got some history with me and Marty actually with that in other bands that we played with. I don't think I need to tell you what my least favorite song is to sing in my Def Leppard band. I think you guys
I know.
can pretty much guess that.
I know what it is.
But you
Yeah.
have to sing it. You have
But
to.
yeah, I
baby.
mean, it's a tribute. We have to sing the song. And you know what? When it comes to that, I'll get the crowd involved. I'll sing it, and if there's no one there, I'll sing the whole thing. But it's about the event rather than about the song with
Mhm.
that. Pearl Jam. Wow. My favorite song to sing from Pearl Jam is the last song on the first album called Release. Mainly because it reminds me of my dad, and my dad passed away a couple decades ago. It's just a very heartfelt meaning to me on that. And actually with the Soundgarden, Say Hello to Heaven and something off of Bad Motorfinger. I can't think of it offhand, but those are my favorites to play because they remind me of a certain time, certain things with it means a lot to me. I don't have a worst case song in my Pearl Jam tribute. If it is, we don't do it.
Right,
So,
right. Is there one that you
Mike-
just go, oh shit? Is there one that's more challenging? Not maybe not the worst, but it's a challenge to sing. You're like, I may hit it this night. I may not hit it this night.
With the Pearl Jam stuff, that's luckily in my wheelhouse. I'm not too worried about that. With the Soundgarden stuff, there's Dave Game songs. Yeah, Say Hello to Heaven, which is
Yeah.
a really difficult song to sing. We've only done Slaves and Bulldozers, and if you're not familiar with these songs, they're exceptionally hard because it's a lot of holding this note for a long time. It's definitely difficult to put it in one spot. I've only sang that song once, and even then it wasn't good, or at least my opinion. But there's that aspect of it. I again with the Pearl Jam stuff, I don't think I know of. Or even in the Soundgarden stuff, I don't think there's a song that I really dislike in singing that stuff.
Right on, man.
Again, nothing to bash on the Def Leppard stuff. I love singing that too. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in the band. But that stuff speaks more to me just because he's more of my mentor.
Cool.
So,
Gentlemen, I got to cut loose. Chris, it's always
Value.
great seeing you, my friend. You guys enjoy the rest of your podcast.
Yeah, Mikey.
Mike, thank you very much. Take care, Mike.
So Chris, what shows you got coming up? Jesus Christ, you're in like a
Well, hold
dozen
on. Hang
bands.
on. I got a question.
All right,
Sure, Mike.
go.
I got questions for
Go.
Chris. So I'm going to ask you very vanilla, easy questions. I wrote
go
them
ahead.
down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pop Tarts, love them or hate them?
Pop Tarts? Oh man, I love them, but I probably haven't had them in a decade.
Decade. We
I
gotta get you.
try not. I don't have a sweet tooth. I've got a savory tooth.
Okay.
So
All right. Favorite movie of all time?
Time Machine, H.G. Wells, hands
Oh,
down.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm a
interesting.
sci-fi nerd. I love that stuff. So yeah, that one,
Newer one or the old one?
the original.
Original.
I watched the newer ones. It's easily the original because probably that and The Day the Earth Stood Still are two movies my dad loved, and he's the one who got me into sci-fi. So those are my two favorites of all
I
time.
remember watching The Day the Earth Stood Still, and that Martian guy. They land and everyone's like, staring at it. That's pretty intense. As a kid, it's intense.
Yeah.
How
Hold on,
about
Mongo Mike? Ask him what his favorite rock movie is.
favorite rock
Rockstar.
movie?
Rockstar.
Okay.
Easily.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Just because it was just so funny and just so weird. It was about a guy coming into, I know it's based on Rob Halford's story. But it was about that guy coming into making something of himself with it. That studio scene where he walks in the studio and Ralph Sens from Atomic Punks is walking out. It's probably my favorite spot in that whole movie. Even though it's kind of tongue in cheek for the rest of it, that when he falls down the stairs are my favorite spots in those movies.
So. What's your favorite venue to play?
Wow, that I can't answer fairly because there's a lot of local stuff, Vixen, Sundance, because they're friends of mine. I would probably say House of Blues in Chicago, just because it was always a big bar to get to there. We played there a couple times. They've changed management. We haven't been there in a while, but we're working on some stuff with that. So the House of Blues is one of my favorite places to play in Chicago.
Nice.
Easily.
Last question. Favorite concert of all time? All the years, all the concerts you ever seen, what's your favorite?
Oh, wow. I'm a huge Seven Dust fan, and I've seen them a couple times. But I will go back to one of my first, and coming back and circling to themes. It was Ozzy Osbourne and Anthrax at was that Rosemont? Yeah. It was when they were, I forget what album Ozzy was promoting, but it was Zach's first one, I think. And Anthrax was on the Antisocial, just because I don't know, it was just a kind of cool event for me to remember. And I was always an Anthrax fan and loved Ozzy, so it was cool to see those two together with it.
Pretty awesome double bill on that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think that they're in the Ozzy's in Anthrax's video for Antisocial as well. So
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
Very
those are
cool.
my vanilla questions for you. Easy
No,
one.
very cool. Thank you for that.
Well, the new Spinal Tap's coming out, so
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Rhodes, you got one last question you want to throw on before we get into the schedules?
No, not at all.
Okay.
All I got to say is I love CBob. He knows that already, though.
Hey, Rhodesy, Pop-Tarts, love them or hate them?
Actually, they got a new ice cream Pop-Tart treat.
Okay. Well, what flavor, Mike? Or what Rhodes? What flavor Pop-Tarts do you guys like?
I tried the brown sugar and cinnamon, and then the strawberry, but that's in the ice cream flavor.
Yeah,
cherry and blueberry for me.
Yeah, strawberry's still a winner. I was just looking at it in my cabinet today when I got home, and I thought, I wonder if CBob likes Pop-Tarts.
Need to add the ice cream question to that. Favorite ice cream as well.
So random, Mike. I wonder
exactly.
Remember, we used to get a 45 Rector on the back of a cereal box.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Just saying.
Oh my gosh. I should share that with my daughter.
Chris,
you never get the chance to hang up or slam and hang up your phone anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Chris, where are you playing at?
My schedule. So I've got a private party with my 10 Chicago band on Saturday.
Love the private parties. Good for you.
Yeah, so do I. Then 10 and Super Unknown are playing Poopies out in South Savannah. It's a biker bar if you haven't been. Yep, we're playing that on the 26th. Then in August, it's all Rok Brigade. Sideouts on August 1st, the Piazza on August 9th, Lake Geneva Venetian Festival on August 14th, and the Broken Oar on August 23rd. I can go on and other stuff, Retro and Roscoe, Bourbon Street, Sundance, and other stuff with that. But for anything, rockbrigadeband.com, super-unknown.com, 10chicago.com.
They want to book you guys. Who's doing the booking?
Both me. So for the Super Unknown and 10, it's me. And that's set on the website. For Rok Brigade, it's either myself or Bill Covert. All of that booking information. If you want to see some videos with that, I think I've sent you guys about 400 videos of bands and projects.
Which is your favorite one? Which one should we open up the show with, Chris?
I Want Out.
pushed in little forms. No one asks us how we like to be. School, they teach you what to think, but everyone says different things, but they all convinced that they're the ones to see. So they talking and they never stop. At a certain point you give it up. So the only thing that's left to think is this. I wanna to live my life alone. Live me. I wanna to do things of my own. To live my life and to be free. People tell me A and B. They tell me how I have to see things that I have seen already clear. So they push me then from side to side. They're pushing me from back to wide. They're pushing till there's nothing more to hear. But don't push me to the maximum. Shut your mouth and take it home. 'Cause I understand the way things gotta be. I wanna to live my life alone. Live me. I wanna to do things on my own. To live my life and to be free. There's a million ways to see things. A million ways to be the fool. In the end of it, none is right. Sometimes we need to be alone.
Can I just go home?
It was a fun video. It's always been a bucket list of mine. It's if you're not familiar with the song, at least watch the video because it was my foray into kind of doing video editing, and I wanted to have some fun with something of being cooped up from the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, I watched it today. I never saw it before. It was pretty cool.
Oh, very cool. I'm glad you got a chance to see that.
Yeah.
So
That will lead us off. Bongo Mike, what you got?
Busy weekend. The Mosquitos are playing Long Grove this weekend, Brothers Field. And
Week ahead.
What's that?
Week ahead.
Wow, that's it. That's this weekend. Everything. And then I got 3 Black Diamond shows. I got Thursday with Black Diamond Sessions. I got Sunday at the Highwood Festival with Black Diamond Sessions. And then Wednesday the 23rd, which this might actually air right around there, right? So the 23rd, next Wednesday, Clarkson Park in Northfield with the Black Diamond Sessions. So
Everybody's getting paid. I love it. Even Rhodesy, drummer for hire. What you up to, pal?
Like I said, since we're a week off, I'll be recovering from the 3 bands in 3 days weekend that I have coming up.
Somebody wants a drummer. How do they get a hold of you?
Oh, Facebook, that kind of thing.
All right.
What band? What 3 bands, Rhodes? If you don't mind me asking. to close things
Playing
out?
with Focal Point on Friday at Potter's in Naperville. Playing with Good Country at Alpine Fest in Lake Zurich
Nice.
on Saturday, and Renegade Wildflower in Dubuque at the Botanical Gardens on Dubuque
Woo,
Sunday.
nice.
fun.
Nice.
Busy.
Yeah, you're definitely going to need to recover from that, Chris. Awesome.
And then I'm open, so anybody needs a drummer,
All right. Boom.
watch the podcast and reach out to me. That's how they find me, Pete. They just tag you.
DFH, drummer for hire. CBob, Bongo Mike, Rhodesy, thank you so much for another episode of the Hogpod.
This was fun. Thanks for having me a part of it.
Great job, Chris.
Brother.
Like
You know
that.
you're it, man. I love
you,
it.
brother.
Take care, guys.